What's going on, everyone? So this upcoming offseason, the Los Angeles Lakers desperately need a center. We've seen it. Jackson Hayes talked about it. I like him. I don't like him as your starter. If he's your backup or a third center or just, a guy that's there to give you a different look, fine. Perfect. Beautiful. I love it. We'll see what his market is this upcoming offseason. I do think he's probably going to make a little more than maybe the Lakers would be willing to offer. We'll see. Also, he wants to play with Luka, so I could see him sticking around just for that sake. He even said himself that he was almost traded, that the Dallas Mavericks were regularly trying to trade for him, and it just never happened, and that he used to tell Luka regularly after games that, like, hey, if you ever need a center, let me know. I'm here. Well, now they get to play together, right? And you've seen what Luka's been able to do with Jackson Hayes. I do think more likely than not, any center that the Lakers get this offseason, as far as like starting caliber goes, it's probably going to have to come via trade. Obviously things could change. We'll see who actually becomes a free agent. You also got to keep in mind that with the new CBA, teams can negotiate with their free agents early. You saw it this past offseason where there was several guys that were available, and then all of a sudden they weren't before free agency because they signed new deals with their roster or the team that they were currently with. Obviously, there's guys like Miles Turner who would be great. The Lakers could pull that off. But another guy that is linked right now to the Lakers and the Lakers are expected to pursue in the offseason is Clint Capela. Now, obviously, it's very early, but he does make a lot of sense. And the Lakers had some interest this season and even last season in potentially acquiring Clint Capela. Clint Capela is 30 years old at the time of recording this video, but this May, he'll be 31 years old. So veteran guy. If I'm being honest, I like Clint Capela, right? And we're going to dive into the good and the bad with him here in a moment. But I don't know if I like him as your starting center. Right? He's not what he used to be. He's still very good. Still one of the better offensive rebounders in the league, which would be great. But to me, I like him in place of Jackson Hayes, or, even slot alongside where they're kind of splitting at times. Or, if we lose Jackson Hayes, right? Say he goes elsewhere, some team, offers him some money because of his age or whatever. I could see the Lakers maybe bringing in a Clint Capela. But again, as your starter, it's not something I'd jump at the opportunity for. Obviously, if you have no other option, no other choice, then sure. Like, if you told me worst case scenario, the Lakers ended up with Clint Capela, I don't think that's that bad of an idea. I don't think that that's terrible. Right? He can still block the occasional shot. He is that lob threat. He's basically what the Lakers need. Just given his age, and he is definitely on a bit of a decline, but I do still think he's a very valuable piece. But he is a guy that's got the size. He's 6'10", 6'11", 250, 260, with a 7'5" wingspan. So he has that interior presence. He has that interior size that the Lakers are looking for. If you look at him this year, right, he's played in 55 games. He has started 41. So he's came off the bench in 14 of them. He's averaging 21.4 minutes, which is, around backup level minutes, right? So if he's already doing that for Atlanta, I imagine that he'd be willing to do it for the Lakers, especially playing alongside Luka, Reeves, LeBron. Those guys are going to make him look very good, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets back to being a double-double guy, which he already almost is. He's like just shy. We'll go over that here in a moment. But he's averaging 7.1 field goals per game, shooting 56% from the floor. Again, not a guy that shoots threes at any stretch at all. So it's solely just 2-point range in which he's shooting 56% on 7.1 attempts, EFG of 56%. Free throw line, he's atrocious. He's terrible. He has been his entire career. There even, had times when he was in Houston where they do the, hack a Capella type thing. This season, he's shooting 53.6% from the foul line on 1.8 attempts. Last year, he shot 63%, which again isn't great, but it was one of his better free throw shooting seasons of his career. But where his value really is again, rebounding, floor running, being that lob threat, getting putbacks, things like that. So again, in 21 minutes of action, he's averaging 8.5 rebounds per game, including 3.2 offensive rebounds. He's giving 5.4 defensive rebounds. He's averaging 1.1 assists. Will be nice to round up to a full block, a full steal with a block. and 9 points per game. So he's basically almost a 9-9 guy with a block and a steal a game, right? That'd be great. That'd be fine, right? The rebounding, the offensive rebounding, the interior presence, all those things would be very valuable. If you look at his per 36 numbers, which again, don't tell the whole story. It doesn't give you everything, right? Some guys are really good for, 15 minutes of action. And then after that, Taurean Prince last year is a great example. Whenever the Lakers played Taurean Prince like 15 minutes, Lakers were like the best team in the league. But like as soon as he played like that 16th minute, the Lakers were like the worst team in the league. It happens all the time, right? Guys are really good in like specific roles, specific minutes, and anytime. Jackson Hayes is another guy I've talked about, right? Like Jackson Hayes is great in like 10 to 15 minute doses, but the longer he's on the court, you start to see kind of the flaws at times, right? Just things like that to kind of keep in mind. But his per 36, I do think gives you some of the story. And plus he was a guy that was a full-time starter for a good majority of his career. But this season he'd be a 15 and 14, almost 15 guy. So he's almost a 15 and 15 guy, again, in 36 minutes of action with 2 assists, a steal, and almost 2 blocks per game. So, that's like his prime numbers, right? Like that would be great. He's a guy that can come in, give you that interior size, give you that interior defense. Again, I don't like him as your starter. Like, he's not the guy that I'd be like, sign me up for some Clint Capela as your starter. But he is a guy that I wouldn't hate in a sort of backup role, right? Give me 15 to 20 minutes a game, right? And, Mark Williams, we'll just use him as an example, right? Let's say the Lakers revisit that trade in the offseason. They go make the move, they make the trade, and say Jackson Hayes departs. Again, you could do worse than Clint Capela, right? There's even an argument to be made of taking Clint Capela over Jackson Hayes because, he's the veteran, he's more disciplined, he's better defensively, he's just bigger, right? And he still gives you a lot of the same things. He's not as high of a flyer. Like Jackson Hayes is like a high flyer, right? Athletic, can run the floor, do all that stuff. Like Clint Capela could do all those things. He's just not as athletic and young as a Jackson Hayes is. But again, gives you that interior size. And then, if sticking with Mark Williams as the example, if Mark Williams gets the night off or something like that, boom, you have Clint Capela that can go out there and do those things. Or if you're able to get, another set, Miles Turner even. Right, like let's say the Lakers are able to get a Miles Turner. Well, if you can get Clint Capela, which I don't think, so he's making like 20 million. I don't think he's making anything close to that. I think it's 22 million, but I don't think he's making anything close to that. He's probably looking at 10 to maybe 15 million a year range if a team is desperate enough to need a center, right? Like would a team like the Warriors, because they just really need a center, would they offer him, say 15 million if everyone else is offering him 10 type thing? Maybe. But if you're the Lakers, if you can get him for around 10 million, again, I don't hate the idea, right? Bring him in, have him be that interior presence. He can still do a lot of the same stuff, and he can give you a lot of the things that this team really needs. He's a guy that can bang with the big boys, that can rebound. More than anything, to me, it's the offensive rebounding, right? And just the interior size is what the Lakers need, right? He's a guy that, again, is he the same? Is he Houston Clint Capela? Absolutely not. But he still rebounds with the best of them. And the Lakers need that. They need the rebounding. They need that interior presence, right? You need to generate second chance opportunities, get Luka and LeBron and Reeves more opportunities, more shots. And Clint Capela is a guy that can do that. He's almost averaging as many, offensive rebounds as he is, regular defensive rebounds. So if you can find a way and find a path to get him, it has to be reasonable, right? Like if he wants 18 million or something, you're crazy. Like good luck to you. If a team's willing to pony that up, best of luck, best of wishes type thing, right? But if he is willing to come in and play a role, and he wants to contend for a championship, and he's willing to kind of buy into whatever the Lakers need on any given night, and you tell him like, hey, there's going to be nights where you're going to start, right? There's going to be nights and moments, and even if you get a Miles Turner, right, with his ability to stretch the floor, you might be able to go 2 bigs at times. I know Miles Turner wants to play the 5 more than he wants to play the 4, but if you get that guy or two that maybe can stretch the floor a little bit. Maybe you can even do different looks with you have two bigs. I mean, they even ran Jackson Hayes and Christian Coloco at times, right? Could you maybe do different looks like that and just kind of have that interior size in a Denver matchup or something, right? I just don't think it hurts, especially to have a guy like Clint Capela with his capabilities, what he's still able to do. You're not going to sign him to, 5, 6, 7 year deal, right? Probably looking at him 4-year deal, reasonable, right? At that point, now he's 35, and then it's like good luck to you from there. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you love the idea of Clint Capela? Do you kind of like, we'll see how it goes. If all else fails, right? Break glass in case of emergency. Sure, fine. Bring in Clint Capela. Mixed in the middle, whatever it is, love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.